Welcome to the Endurant Show's Healing Together New Year's mini-series. 4 short episodes designed to help you build more connection and resilience as we head into 2026. If you've been craving support, language for hard moments, or simple tools to feel closer to the people you love, you're in the right place. This series is made possible by our nonprofit, the Endurant Movement. This month, we're looking for 100 people to stand with us in support of Teen Voices, a program featuring real teens sharing honest, unfiltered stories about mental health. Many in our community choose to support this work with a $25 monthly gift, helping ensure these conversations continue for teens and families who need them. If this work resonates with you, we'd love for you to come join us. You'll find a link in the show notes below. Thank you for being here. Welcome back to episode 3 of our mini-series as we transition from season 1 to season 2 of the Endurant Show. What a great time of year to be with you as we start this new year. And today's episode is really about what do we want to carry forward? What do we want to bring into this new year? The skills, the connections, the tools, the resources. Our promise, our outcome for this episode is quite simply to provide you these practical, usable skills.
And what we learned last year about what truly matters is what we're sharing today. So one thing that really stood out to us is connection. And in the Teen Voices panel, we saw teens reaching out and teaching adults the power of presence, not about fixing or trying to change who they are, but to listen and to be present and to hear the message that the teens have to share.
Yeah. And another powerful and practical tool is conversation, and more specifically, communication, right? Having those hard conversations. The hard conversations are where the most meaningful opportunities for connection and growth reside. It's really in those difficult conversations, whether it be with your spouse, around intimacy, boundaries, identities, whomever it may be, friends, family, around fixing, but listening and creating space.
Yeah, communication is, both sharing and also listening. So both sides of that coin on the conversation are very important. Also awareness. So navigating intimacy, vulnerability with honesty, laughter, and grace, and celebrating the wins, not just of achievement, but also of just being able to be present and to show up with an open mind and an open heart.
Yeah, and I love the idea of playfulness, right? I know I keep coming back to it, but it just feels like the antidote to the cringe, to the hard, to the friction, right?
To the heavy.
To the heavy,
Mm-hmm.
not taking yourself too seriously, and just, as best you can, being playful about it. And then another one that is really beautiful is being seen. I just want to share a personal story with you. Aunt's friend gave me this Endurant jersey. And you see it in a lot of the things that we do, a lot of the episodes, a lot of social media. I wear it all around town. I've slept with it. It really created a sacred moment of belonging for me. That first year when all of his friends went back to school, and they kept saying, please come and talk to us. And I was so reluctant and hesitant. It was like, how can I help? I didn't save my son's life. I felt like an imposter. And when they walked up to me and gave me this jersey, I was just able to let all that go. And it was very clear that I belonged, and that I could do this. So being seen has been such a theme that we've realized over the past few months, and especially as we've had the privilege of shooting these Teen Voices episodes here, I think if you were to really distill down all of what they're sharing, is that may be what's most important.
Hmm. Yeah. And it offers strength. I mean, these moments offer strength and help us to see what is the fabric of families. So in the moving forward, we see a number of different things that we've kind of coined as the Endurant Way.
Hmm.
So would you like to start us with the
Yeah.
Endurant Way of moving forward?
Yeah, and even though we're going to provide these in some order, there's real no order magic to them, but trust building. The teens opened up that once trust, not pressure, was present, the world of possibilities opened up to feel seen, to be heard. So trust building, creating that presence, right? Again, that calm connection, so that the space of safety can be created, is so important. The same is true in our primary relationships, but all of our relationships. I believe that when we have that sense of trust, it creates the possibility for that authenticity, that vulnerability to bubble up.
Hmm. For sure. Also, the repair conversations. So, the moments where we've been able to say, hey, that didn't land right with me, or I didn't say that didn't come out the way I meant to say it. And, it seems like you might be hurt from that. I don't believe you really got my true message. Um, we have these human experiences, but the words and the vocabulary don't always match up with the energy. And so being able to kind of take a pause and say, "Hey, let's circle back on that and let's take a moment to have a repair conversation." That's been really helpful too.
Yeah, really helpful, right? So the idea of repair conversation, so coming back to it, and one of the things I think I shared this, but it has so much recency for me, is I don't know. I'm in this phase right now where I'm in my head a lot more as I'm navigating my new identity and certain relationships. So I'm thinking a lot more than I'm accustomed to, as opposed to being or just acting or reacting. And so sometimes something will be said, and it's almost like an outer body experience for me, like, well, where did that come from, or who said that? So stopping myself in the moment and acknowledging, hey, I don't know where that came from. That's not what I meant to say. My intention is really actually this. I've I've found to be really helpful for me, as opposed to like going back and beating myself up for that weirdness. Saying the things that feel hard, right? So we shared, teens on the panel openly have admitted anxiety, suicidal thoughts, masking, the challenges of isolation and aloneness that they're feeling, and what they need, from us to help them. And in turn, it's created in us, the two of us, that admitting that we really actually don't know how to help them. Like, I mean, like, literally don't. We could research it, use AI. There's all sorts of resources and things like that. But what we found is, like, when we're like, wait a minute, let's just show up and be present and ask them, they're telling us. So all we have to do is listen. And it's beautifully simple, and it's so magical to see unfold. And quite frankly, it's shocking how frequent it happens, right? I mean, so often there's so much going on in the endurance movement. When we show up, we're like, oh, okay, we're trying to figure stuff out. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. No, they'll show us where we need to go, and what we need to do. And so, you know, um, yeah.
Well, and that's inspired me too to have the courage to speak up with my own struggles about, what I'm feeling, that I don't have to hide it, that I can say the things that are hard, that I am feeling anxious, or I'm feeling suicidal, or I'm feeling really low, and um, observing the courage especially in the teens and the teen voices, has inspired courage within me. So I'm really grateful for that. Um, and then choosing curiosity over judgment. So just asking the questions and showing up is without judgment. It's such a powerful shift and a space where, the teens saying, I certainly want my parents to care. I want them to be involved. I don't want them to judge or try to fix it. I just, so having the curiosity, um, again, inspires me in my relationships to just ask those curious questions. How are you feeling today? What does support look like for you? Would you prefer presence? Are you looking for a solution? Like, it's just curiosity, right? Some
Yeah.
of it is, it's so simple, but it's really important for those reminders of like, yeah, I mean, we're not trying to fix, solve, or judge. We're just showing up with presence, and curiosity.
It's so powerful. I love this one so much. And I find that the curiosity comes to me easier when I don't know. So it's much easier to fall into curiosity than judgment. And without taking us too far off track, when I was looking back over this and looking at our note cards, flying is quite an experience these days for a variety of reasons, and we won't get deep into it. But I find very easy for me to judge people around how they behave on flights and which bags they choose to put up above and which bags they choose that they're entitled to put up above instead of between their feet. And now I was like reading this, and like, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to like be curious instead of judging and reacting from a place of certainty that I know you're wrong, because well, being right is insufficient for being effective. Curiosity would be the antidote there. I'm looking forward to trying that out on the next flight or two, asking them why that might be a good decision.
Mhm.
So, curiosity seems to come a lot easier for me when I don't know. But I was prompted to consider, well, wait a minute, maybe I should consider being curious when I do know.
Great. I mean, whenever the lessons come, they're there, and if we can be open and curious, they'll come in when they need to. So, um, it's great. I mean, these skills help to build the emotional house that we want to live in. It's a wonderful opportunity to be a lifelong learner. So, tools that we can use at home this year. First is weekly connection.
Mm.
This is something that we've been doing as a family a little bit more, on for us it works on Sunday evenings, but we just kind of check in. How's everybody feeling? What's the week ahead look like? A prompt that you could ask your loved one on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling today? Um, that doesn't have to be a weekly thing. Find the cadence and the rhythm that works for you, but a regular check-in, I would say.
And another one is, what's one truth and one wish? I really like these prompts. These are good ones. One true thing for me is, and we were talking about that in an earlier episode and about a moment that we had prior to that. And instead of letting it rattle around and build inside and create resentment, the prompt is, one true thing for me is, and just sharing that.
Hmm.
And then another one I like is, the one thing I wish for us this week is.
Hmm.
So one truth, one wish.
Yeah, I mean, I think my truth today is I'm feeling pretty good. I'm getting a little tired, but I'm feeling pretty good. And the wish I have is that we have a dinner out.
Oh, deal. I'm with you on that. And so I'll play along. So one truth for me is, I absolutely love this. I love being in this studio, being together with you, and certainly with the guests we have, but sharing with you. Again, I talk about this all the time: shorts down, tied out, but it really energizes me and helps me personally. So that's one truth for me. And one wish for me is, um, I don't know. I wish for a good night's sleep tonight.
There you go. Sleep is so important.
That it is.
So the family grounding ritual, there's a lot of opportunities. Again, for us, we're doing kind of like a weekly family meeting where we look. It's centered. Often it's centered around the meals for the week because we like to have family dinners together where possible. But we've got a working teen and our life, and so we kind of look at what meals are happening on what days, who is doing what, um, and then expressing something that you're grateful for. You can ground it with deep breaths. And then one thing that's worked really well for us is you may notice that Neil talks a little more than I do and is a little more comfortable in this. Like he's energized by this, whereas I get a little tired. Maybe I'm a little more introverted. He's a little more extroverted. So we have different energies that show up in this way. And so in our conversations, we've found it helpful to have a talking stick or a piece, a tangible item. So when someone's holding the item, that person has the floor and they are not to be interrupted and they can talk. And it gives that person the opportunity to get everything out that they want to say without being interrupted. And then it's passed off. And then the other person gets to share.
And when we do this, it's pure magic, right? And it seems so commonsensical, but yes, to live with me, I take up a lot of the space, and I could see where that'd be overwhelming. And it's been powerful for me because it helps me listen a lot better. So you may have heard this. This isn't profound and new, but it's kind of common sense. And when that common sense becomes common practice, the extraordinary connection will happen. So some sort of talking stick or this lovely owl to communicate so people have space to share what they need, especially in the difficult conversations.
And then any energy reset practices.
Yes. For me, I is pausing, pausing. And when I pause, it's so important for me that space between is magic. New perspective comes in, new opportunities come in. I joke around that my best ideas come to me in the shower, well, because it's such a profound pause. And in my spiritual journey over the past 18 months, it's in those pauses when the numbers show up, the signs show up, the owl presence, whatever it may be. And it's like, like a new perspective arises. But if there isn't that space for that, it's not going to happen. We're just railroading through.
Yeah, I think another expression for that, the energy reset, would be a transition, right? So we're not just, charging from one thing to the next without pause. We do take a pause in between. And I mean, Joella, that we worked with at the Chopra Center years ago, I remember her saying this, that, working from home, at the end of the day, she would change her clothes physically because that energy shift would help her body, her mind, her spirit, her whole person to understand, okay, now I'm shifting from work mode to personal relaxation mode. And so I think having those rituals for transition are really important. I think for you, the water, the shower is key. That's great when I can do that too. I mean, over this past year, we would jump in the ocean a lot at the end of the day.
Best.
And if you don't have an ocean by you, a lake, a shower, any kind of water like that is definitely going to change the energy and the state. Taking a walk, having a glass of water, just a moment of pause, something to shift that energy, to indicate and send the sign of, okay, we're transitioning, we're moving from one thing to the next.
So important. I love that. I've heard recently, I haven't done it yet, but If you don't have a cold plunge or something like that, sticking your face in a bowl of ice water, right? That one keeps
Yeah.
coming up. We got to
Yeah.
give that a
That's a
try.
great one. And then some communication prompts that we've found helpful. One is, tell me more,
Yeah.
or what else?
Yeah.
What else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
What
like,
else? What else? Especially in that masculine feminine role. Like, you think they're done. Trust me, ask again. Is there more? What else? What else? What else?
another one is, what does your body feel like right now?
Mm. Yeah, I like that one. Not outing Samara, but I don't like is when she's just like, "Oh, your breath seems faster, your heart is racing," and I'm not aware of it, but I may be getting worked up, and that that isn't helping me. That statement, but the question maybe asking me like that creates that space, that pause for me to consider. Wait, something physiologically is happening here as well.
Curiosity.
Mhm.
And then we've talked about this one. Do you want presence or help?
Mhm. Gosh, such a good question. So again, I mean, simple, repeatable, low pressure tools that create safety, trust, ultimately resulting in that resilience, that endurance.
So these are some great tools that we can share with how to carry forward, and we'd like to close today with just a guided reflection. So you can take a moment, you can put your hand on your heart if that feels comfortable. If you're in a safe space to close your eyes, I invite you to do that as well, and just begin by deepening your breath. Lengthening your inhale and your exhale, just coming present into your body, into your experience. Just notice how you're feeling. And invite yourself some softness, some grace. Allow yourself to just be present with you, centering and connecting with your heart. And after your next exhale, just calling to mind a friend or a family member, someone in your circle who may be struggling silently right now. Just holding an image of them in your head and continuing to breathe, staying present with yourself and this loved one. And just inviting a small way that you can create a little more safety or softness between you and this loved one. And just not judging, but observing what's coming up. And just consider this invitation to be a seed that's planted in your heart for a way that you can show up for this person. No pressure, just an invitation. And then reflecting that same type of inquiry, of curiosity to yourself. And what's something that you may need from a loved one or a close one that you haven't articulated or said out loud yet? Just continuing softly to invite the opportunity to speak your truth in a gentle and loving way. And after your next exhale, you can gently come back to the present, letting your eyes flutter open. And just remembering that providing love, gentleness, curiosity to yourself and others fosters connection in ways that we can carry each other forth in community, showing up for yourself and for those in your circle.
So beautiful. And we're just reminded that connection doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as being present. So if you feel the pull, maybe choose one moment this week to be fully present with someone. No fixing, no advising, just listening.
Staying curious. We're so grateful for your curiosity and for your willingness to show up to join us today for this episode of the Endurant Show. We are grateful to you as a community and to continue to grow with us.
Yeah, just a reminder to carry these small things forward. These small things stack and they build into big things. So before we leave, we're just filled with such tremendous gratitude that we have this studio, and for the donors that have created it, and for Patrick and Anna, who you can't see, who are behind these cameras taking care of everything here and with the sound, and Nicolette back home in Hawaii is the producer of this show, and Ari and Jose in Colombia who do all the editing magic to make this happen. We're so very grateful for all of you, and we look forward to seeing you next week for the fourth and final episode of this mini series. Where we're going to go from here is trust, community, and we're going to share with you what's next for the Endurance Show and the Endurant Movement. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Gracias.
Thank you for listening to the Endurance Show. If this conversation moved you, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. To view the conversations, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And to be a part of the community, follow us at Endurant Movement. And lastly, if you feel called to support the movement and help us ensure no teen ever feels alone again, visit endurantmovement.org to learn more, and if you can, make a donation. Together we can create lasting change, one conversation, one connection at a time.